Welcome to Music Ruminations, the video blog. I have moved away from the written word and onto the spoken word, so welcome to the future, welcome to the 21st century. I guess you were probably already here. I'm pleased to be joining you. I have moved here so that I can bring you my thoughts and obviously my ruminations in a little bit more detail. I can go through them, perhaps bring across a little bit more of the emotion that I feel for some of the music. Perhaps that'll come across better, and obviously if the light from my forehead doesn't blind you whilst I'm talking, and hopefully we can I can have some more enthusiasm perhaps for the topic. On the blog I'd written 130 odd posts and I'd run out of steam over the last couple of years. I started in 2009 and I'd said a lot of things that I wanted to say, and I found myself covering over territory, and indeed I found myself repeating myself, as you would. I read the blog post back on a more serious note and I found that they were a little bit choppy. I found that because I tried not to ruminate too much on each individual topic and tried to leave it to one or two paragraphs in between songs, if you played the song like you were supposed to, then you would be halfway through the song by the time you got to the next song, and so the point was a little bit lost. So the way this will work is that I will talk, you will listen, I will control the content, because the content is mine. Well, when I say the content is mine, the content is Google's. Because Google and YouTube, and indeed increasingly everything. Still, that's perhaps a different point. As I said, I'll talk, I'll cut to the music, I'll come back, I'll cut to the music, and hopefully it'll create a little bit more flow and I'll be able to get some of the points across, and you'll be able to listen to some great music. Well, music that I think is great. So let's hope that that works a little bit better, and it'll keep me enthused because I'm learning some new skills. I'm doing some video editing, I'm learning how to talk to a camera and do a bit of lighting, and as you can see, welcome to the Music Ruminations office, by the way, such as it is. And it'll give me a chance to go into some more depth about some things, because I can talk perhaps, or hopefully better than I can write, and I can get the emotion across that I was talking about at the beginning of the link. And so with that in mind, I want to talk to you about my day today. What did I do today and why is it relevant? Well, I went to a charity shop. It's a very hot day. I'm in London. It was hot. Who knew it got that hot in London? Apparently it was hotter than Hawaii. No, who cares? Anyway, a charity shop. Charity shops in London, as I guess charity shops all around the world, they have a lot of stuff in them. They have clothes that people are giving away, they have books that people are giving away, they have shoes, they have CDs, they have toys, and they also have records. Now, as some of you who have read my blog before, I'm apparently over records. Well, sort of. Yeah, I'll talk about that later. Anyway, what did I find today in the record store? I found many things. I found, first of all, a lot of Neil Diamond. In my area, people like Neil Diamond. Okay, fair enough. But Nana Mouskouri. A lot of Nana Mouskouri. I mean, if there were, let's say, 100, 150 albums there, it was a small section in a small charity shop. There were like 20 Nana Mouskouri albums. Who listened? Well, obviously, people don't listen to Nana Mouskouri anymore, but people bought them. Why do people buy Nana Mouskouri? I don't know. Anyway, what I did find, though, which was quite cool, was this, which is the somewhat homoerotic cover for the one album by Blind Faith, which is pretty cool. So I'm just working out how to get that in there. Let's go that way. There we go, Blind Faith. So why are Blind Faith interesting? Well, Blind Faith are the first supergroup, and as such they occupy a somewhat unique place in music. Perhaps the best way to explain them to you is for me to play perhaps their most famous song, and then we can talk about it afterwards. So here's their most famous song. So we have a bit of a problem, I'm sorry to say. copyright laws have meant that I can't play the video that I wanted to play. The video I wanted to play was Blind Faith, I Can't Find My Way Home. So as a suggestion, perhaps if you pause this or open another window and then perhaps go and search Blind Faith, I Can't Find My Way Home, watch that and then cut back, and I'll put this in the place of the video, and then I can talk afterwards, and then I'll do the same for the other videos for this one whilst I work out with YouTube what's going on in copyright laws. Sorry about that, it's one of those things. That was posted on YouTube by Blind Devotee. Thank you for that. That's a way for us to get the music. I guess the mazes are because you're lost and you can't find your way home. I guess that's a relatively easy visual link to make. What a great song. I've always loved that song. It's a gentle song. There's no menace to it. It is a simple song about, well, I'm lost. And whether you can take it metaphorically and that, I got drunk or I got high or whatever they were doing. And then, I'm just not sure how to get home. Or just, it's late Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and I've had too much to drink at the pub. Maybe. I don't know. It appeals to me in both senses because there's a nice way of saying these things. It's good. So, Blind Faith were the first supergroup, as I said before the clip, and they were the first supergroup because it was Steve Winwood and Rick Grech from Traffic. And I'm sorry if I pronounce Grech, if it's Grech, I'm Australian by heritage, so my English is always going to suffer. And it was also Eric Clapton and Ginger Baker from Cream. And Cream already being a little bit of a supergroup. Then you've got Ginger Baker, who a lot of people rate as the first proper rock drummer. Even though he perhaps had a jazz background before he joined Cream, he is certainly rated as a very great drummer, whether others have come after. So that's for another time. And you've also got Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton, obviously, at the time, people were writing graffiti around London, Clapton is God, and this sort of stuff. And he was in the Yardbirds and Cream and all these fantastic bands, plus the collaborations and that sort of stuff. And you mix that with Rick Grech, who, I don't know an enormous amount about, but clearly rated highly by people that I rate highly, so it must have been great, obviously. And then you've got Steve Winwood. Now, I don't know about you, but I came to music awareness in the 80s. You can perhaps see that I'm not as young as hopefully you are. But for me, Steve Winwood was then Bring Me a High of Love. And it wasn't until much later when I was listening to a radio station on the internet. You click on the link and it plays Radio K-Rock in San Francisco or wherever, and they played some Traffic, and I was like, Dear Mr. Fantasy and this sort of stuff. It's fantastic. And here's this white guy from southern England with the most soulful voice and just a beautiful voice, and you have to listen to another song. So yes, you guessed it, same issue, copyright laws. The song was Sea of Joy by Blind Faith. Again, perhaps go and see it on YouTube and mess around for a bit. Please come back. Not much I can do, sorry. So obviously that was Sea of Joy. Thank you to Chase Fukuoka61 for posting that interesting video. Yeah, it was good. And good song. I mean, it's not revolutionary. I mean, if you haven't heard of Blind Faith before, that's probably why. It's a little bit inconsistent, the album. It's very good, obviously. I mean, you listen to Clapton's guitar and Dave Winwood's guitar. It's fantastic. Now, I just want to, while you were away watching that, I did do some research on Rick, and he also played the keyboards. One of those massively multi-talented musicians, as so many of them are. Now, I bought 2 records today, and the other record I bought was this. Music explosion. Now, the reason I bought this is, one, because it's a music explosion. I mean, how can you not want a music explosion with 22 original hits and 22 original artists? Now, the funny thing about this album, and the reason I actually bought it, to get to the point, is that it has a very bizarre playlist as far as things go. So let's just take side one. So Kung Fu Fighting, okay. Yeah, okay. Rock Your Baby, Kissing in the Back Row of the Movie by the Drifters. So a little bit different from Kung Fu Fighting. Seasons in the Sun. One Man Band, Another Saturday Night by Cat Stevens. Stuck in the Middle with You by Steelers Wheel. The Black Eyed Boys by Paper Lace. Your Baby Ain't Your Baby Anymore by Paul Da Vinci. I'm going to have to look that one up, I'm afraid. This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us by Sparks. And then Summer Love Sensation by the Bay City Rollers. That is the most bizarre playlist I've ever seen. Now, all the songs were from 1974. So that's why they're all together on the album. But you would have thought they would have paced it a little bit better. I think that perhaps, well, obviously they didn't have the mixtape before that, and so perhaps they didn't quite know what they were doing. Maybe we got better at it over the years. Anyway, so to finish up for today's and the first block, I thought that we would finish with Seasons in the Sun, because it's a lovely melancholy song, and indeed it's one of my wife's favourite songs. So thank you for watching the first instalment of Music Ruminations on YouTube. Pleased to be here. There are going to be some more. I've got many topics to talk about. Some about records like this, some about perhaps some slightly more interesting things, let's hope. And if you want to comment, use your YouTube account and comment, or this link will be on the website, the Music Ruminations website, so you can comment there if you want as well. Otherwise, just do what you normally do and read it, watch it, and don't do anything. I would like to hear from you though, please. Thanks. Bye for now. So this time you're searching Seasons in the Sun by Terry Jack. I will get this sorted out for the next post and see what we can do about music. I know that other people do it, so I need to work out how to do it. Thank you for getting to the end of this. Much appreciated. Hope you enjoyed it. Come back and there will be music in here somewhere, somehow. Thanks again. Bye.